of shelled peanuts. You can tell how bright the thing on my monitor is.
Alright, we are live.
Alright. Do you want to send me the link? And I'll send it to some people as well.
Oh, the link to the, that'd probably be nice.
Draw.
Yeah, I
got
think.
it.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. Maybe it'd be better if. Well, no, because I'll be looking.
Here's
here.
the link, by the way.
Oh, we want that up. I'm gonna take this and put that over
I don't know many people that play MTG. I know a lot of people that this would be relevant for.
That is okay. You can. It doesn't matter. You can always send it to everybody.
The true stream mentality.
Yeah.
It would help if I didn't hit caps lock. Oh wait, I know one more person that could probably stop by that might slightly care. Because his entire shtick is he just plays card games.
I was thinking about running into Jordan's channel and being like, "Watch me!
Oh, yeah?
Watch me now!" No. We're just kind of gotta work on getting you in the picture now. I think will be good. Add one.
Move that forward some. There we go. Much better.
It should pop up.
Close that.
And then full screen you. Oh, we gotta get more of your body in the picture.
You need more of me?
No. It was I got it. Okay. Nothing. Oh my God, what am I doing? There's just so much. All right, I gotta make you smaller and put you in this corner. Get in the corner, Alex. I don't know. I think that's fine. I'm gonna push my monitor back so people just don't see my big head.
Ooh.
Just,
that's about a 20-second latency, just so you know.
Okay. I put it
that's
as
why
low
I was
latency,
waving.
but
yeah, that's why I was waving. That's what I was testing.
Okay. Well, I think for the most part, I think we're okay. Yeah. So, hi everyone. Welcome to Untapped Draw. I'm Ramon.
And I'm Alex.
And today we're just going to be talking about Kaldheim spoilers. So let's get into it. We're going to be talking about everything tonight. Our last couple of videos were, in fact, just legendary creatures, but there's a lot of notable cards that need to be mentioned. So I'm going through here and just going I guess to the beginning,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, we'll
Um,
start with the December 16th cards. It looks like
are you on the same link as me, Alex? Are you on Magic Spoiler or are you on
I'm on
Scryfall?
Scry.
Scryfall? Okay, I'm just gonna send you this so that. Oh God, this is. I'm inting. I'm inting. Okay. Uh, here you go, Alex. Okay. So it should take you to the page 6, which is what I'm on. Just has the other 4 modal double face cards for
Oh,
lands.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then is this gonna have all the cards?
Yeah, this will have all of them.
Okay. Oh, there's many page. Okay, 6
Yes,
page.
there are many
Okay.
pages to go through here.
Cool, cool, cool.
So we're gonna start from the bottom and work our way up. I don't know why. Let's see if there's a page changer at the top. There's not. We're gonna work start from the top and make our way down. Um,
Let me check something really quick. Want to see
so
if there's like a quick page change button. Nah, there's not. Sad. All right. So top
PM
down.
PM Howard has said, "Who's this idiot? Alex sounds like a baby named J.K. Hart." Um,
Thanks, Heho.
all right, so not every card is super powerful or anything, but for the most part, the ones that we notice that are obviously have their power pushed a little bit, we're going to talk about a little bit more. So, what I do like here, for one, Kaldheim has done a great job of with the giving us snowlands again. So we'll have more access to basic snowlands, and we don't have to pay 75 cents, 50 cents per each snowland. And then there's 2 arts. They didn't just do one art like the full art snow basics.
Yeah,
Were
and they're sick.
literally just one art for each one, and yeah, and they look great. They're not full art, but they still look great. Yeah. So
Ooh.
first one we're going to look at is Invasion of the Giants for a blue and a red. It's a saga on its first chapter, Scry 2. This is probably not necessarily bad in Commander because red blue does like to can sometimes really like looking at the top cards of their library and set themselves up for new play. So
Yeah, for
the
sure.
second chapter is draw a card, then you may reveal a giant, and this is where we kind of get out of the EDH realm because there's not enough giants for EDH to really have, at least I don't think so, to really have a huge play going on. So it's kind of where it falls off for me, to be honest.
Um.
Um,
Oh, you might be wrong about that. There seems to
oh, are there a
be
lot?
a moderate amount.
Okay. Well, if you fill the rest of the deck with changelings, let's just finish I guess the rest of the card. Draw a card, then you may reveal a giant card from your hand. When you do, Invasion of the Giants deals 2 damage to target opponent or planeswalker. Again, we focus on EDH, so um, really the thing is 2 damage is not doing a whole lot, but in a spell slinger deck that could possibly doing burn, this could matter when you're or even I guess late game. It's a card that blue red can just hit a planeswalker, but they can do that with plenty of other cards, which is why I kind of decided that this isn't really something I would ever play in EDH.
Yeah.
But the third chapter is the next giant spell you cast this turn costs 2 less, which can be good in Commander. I've read blue giants. I'm not sure if there's too many. I guess right in those colors.
They are primarily red.
Okay.
Giants are primarily red. Unfortunately, it seems like their second color is green, typically.
All right. Right.
I don't even think I'm seeing any just like actually. Oh no, there's I found two. Yeah, two blue giants. That's not too good.
All right. Yeah.
Um,
I didn't think there
but
were
you do
a
have control
ton.
over its primary color of green. So,
Yeah, I just didn't
or
think that there's
ooh,
enough in
red. Sorry,
blue
my
and
bad.
red to
Yeah,
actually make a giant deck. So,
yeah, it's primarily red and green. Very
uh,
unfortunate.
so the next card we have is actually our first rare we're going to be talking about, and that is Rise of the Dread Marn. It's 2 and a black instant. Create X 2/2 black zombie berserker creature tokens, where X is the number of non-token creatures that died this turn and has foretell 1 black.
Board wipe. Play this card.
No, no board what? Well, yeah. No, yeah, I see what. Sorry,
Yeah, yeah.
you're
Board
yeah.
wipe this card.
Mm-hmm. Board wipe.
Yeah.
Then play this card. You make a bunch of zombies. Um, recently a card that's come out. Nevin Earl. He wants to just leave the battlefield and destroy everything, and this is gonna be obviously a card that you can play and that's congruent with him to get some good synergies going.
Yeah.
By the way, if anyone watching wants to comment on, you know, how certain cards work, if we make a mistake, or if you want to just add to a card that we're talking about and say, "Oh, this is really good synergy
Yes, I
too,"
know.
feel free to hop on in. Sup, it's Roth. Is that who's that?
He's another one of my buddies.
Okay, gotcha.
That I figured would be interested because
Hey,
he
it's
also plays Magic
all
and he
the
plays
more the merrier.
EDF
Hey, what?
and he also plays EDF.
What is that close to EDH?
Thank you. What are words? What are words?
What are
Truly.
letters?
What are words? What are letters? What are acronyms?
All right, so then we got Resplendent Marshal. It's 1 white creature, Angel Warrior. It's the first mythic we're talking about. And sorry, I keep looking over at chat because I'm like, what is going on? I just hear you typing, but it's your private conversation. When has flying, and when Resplendent Marshal enters the battlefield or dies, you may exile another creature card from your graveyard. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control other than Resplendent Marshal that shares a creature type with the exiled card. This can be pretty good in Angel Tribal or Warriors too. You can play this in, oh, what's her name? Oh, the Wooburg commander for Warriors. I forget. Anyways, yeah. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control other than Resplendent Marshal that shares a creature type with the exiled card. So that's an ETB and die trigger, so you can do that twice.
So it's a super lord.
Yeah,
Sick.
yeah. And it's 3 mana.
Yeah, as it turns out, it is in fact.
Definitely deserve that mythic little postage stamp on the side.
Yeah. 3 mana, 3/3 flying. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Alex, why don't you do Sigrid?
Sigrid, God favored for also 3 mana. Human warrior, so a little bit of synergy there, which is cool. Flash first strike protection from god creatures. Protection from god creatures. Seeming like with Kaldheim in particular, there seems to be a lot of really useful gods, so I'm calling that might actually be pretty relevant. In standard more so than commander.
Yeah, I think it's way more intended for standard. Obviously, it's a standard set, but
yeah,
they try to keep all formats in mind when they create these cards. So, all right. You want the next one too?
Sure, but I'll finish off with Sigrid still. When Sigrid's attacking, or when Sigrid enters the battlefield, exile one target attacking or blocking creature until Sigrid leaves. So it's a little bit of removal for 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's not phenomenal, but it does have flash, so it's definitely useful.
Yeah. I just want to point out real quick, Dinglefart McGurther. Says a buddy of mine made a God's tribal deck, and he is hyped about the World Tree.
Yep.
So we're gonna
Yep.
get
Yep.
to
Yep.
that
Yep.
one
Yep. Yep.
eventually. So Dinklefart, stay tuned.
Sure.
Um,
Sure is a card that exists, as it turns out.
I'm probably just gonna call him Roth because I don't want to keep saying Dinklefart.
You mean you don't want the VOD to just be Dinklefart said?
Yeah, that's gonna be the next podcast segment. Things Dinklefart says. You're gonna need you to start commenting a little bit more there, Roth, so we can make that segment.
So yeah, we also have Dragonkin Berserker for 1 and a red. Another human Berserker with first strike. Boasts the ability to activate or boast abilities you activate cost 1 less to activate for each dragon you control. I haven't seen too many boast abilities
We'll get
that
there.
I've been paying too much attention to.
Yeah, there's a few there.
Yeah. I assumed that there were a handful.
This
but I
is
just haven't seen.
it's definitely gonna be probably a Berserker's riding on top of Dragon's deck.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because you can see Boast 4 and a red create a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying.
Yep.
And if you have 5 dragons or 4 dragons, that just means 1 red make a 5/5.
Yeah.
07 sounds good, boss. Rothland.
Which
yeah.
Man, could you imagine if this card was legendary? That'd be kind of bullshit.
Yeah, for Commander, it probably would see play, but at the same time, again, there's not enough boast cards to throw in a deck. There's enough dragons. You can do dragons for sure.
Who cares about other boasts?
What?
If he's
just
legendary,
him? Just
you just
him.
make him your
Right.
commander and just dragon boast 30 times in your turn. You now have 35/5 flying dragons for 0 mana.
Yeah, you do. Yeah,
You do sort of do that.
that is true. But it is when he
so-
attacks, so you have to make sure that he's not getting just blown up.
Yeah.
All right. So the next one we got is Battle Mammoth. 3 green elephant with trample. Whenever a permanent you control becomes a target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. We've seen cards like this before in Magic. So to put a mythic stamp on it, I don't think was necessary. What might have needed a mythic stamp is the next one, which is Toski, Bearer of Secrets. 3 and a green. We talked about this one in one of our videos. The spell can't be countered. It's indestructible. Toski, Bearer of Secrets attacks each combat if able. And whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. That's whenever a creature. So if 10 creatures hit your opponents, draw 10 cards. That's
Some other card draw.
bananas.
But he's also 4 mana.
But he's a squirrel.
That is true. I'm very much looking forward to Squirrel Tribal.
He should have been mythic because he's
Man.
a squirrel.
Bear Tribal? Already hilarious.
It's Ratatosker, dude.
One step above.
Just give him the crit acorn and build rage on him, and he's busky.
But we've also got Blessing of Frost. Distribute X/1/1 counters among any number of creatures you control, where X is the number of snow mana spent to cast this spell. Then draw a card for each creature you control with a power 4 or greater. That's really easy to get a lot of card draw. And also get power that's going to stay, because they're counters that aren't just going to leave at end of turn.
Yeah, I see this card being very good, even for late game and mid game, because that's just drawing cards.
Yeah,
So-
it's card draw, and it's also power.
At its very worst, you put enough +1/+1 counters on one thing, and you draw one card, right? So at least the thing that you gave +1/+1 counters to got bigger. But not, I won't say most creatures, but, most people with the creatures in their deck, they're playing, even like 3/3s, 2/2s, 2/3s, you name it, right? So you don't have to put 4+1/+1 counters on something. And I'll tell you what, this is probably going right in my Nethroi deck because my Nethroi deck is 0/0 tribal, and they all
Oh yeah,
enter with +1/+1 counters.
just give them
So
more counters.
not only do they get more counters, but that also means I get to draw a card for each and every single one of them.
That is true.
It doesn't, even if X is 0, like I don't have to play this. Like I don't have Snowlands in that deck. I don't have to switch Snowlands out. This card is going to draw me cards anyways, just because its second line of text is then draw a card for each creature you control with
Yeah.
4 or greater power. So this is literally just a 4 mana draw. Probably, I don't know. In my deck, it's often 12. Um, yeah,
That's a lot of draw.
it is. We talked about the next one in a video as well. It's Vorinclex, Monstrous Raider. Get double counters for yourself and putting things that you want double counters on things, essentially. And then basically, when if someone's playing a Mizzix deck or a Marin deck, they're not playing that anymore. They're now trying to play a Modrotha deck and just failing miserably. Um, this card is pretty good. I did throw it in that deck I was telling you I built, Alex, and tested and won swimmingly with. Um,
Yeah. Turns out Vorinclex pretty good.
yeah, so you put twice that many of each of those kinds of counters, right? So I built a Finn deck and I played it against somebody. I was playtesting against some other people, um, and well, if I had Vorinclex out, I won. I think it's a $76 deck. I think I won on like turn 6. Um,
That's
very
decent efficiency.
yes, very very efficient. It was. I mean, it was not necessarily easy. I drew the right hand, right? So
Mhm.
um, they didn't even want to ramp anymore. They just started putting their creatures out after like turn 3. But then I had so many proliferate mechanics that it just didn't matter anymore. But getting Vorinclex out, or even cheating him out in some way, or ramping hard enough to get him out, and you're swinging at people, and you're putting 2 poison counters on someone, you're putting 4 poison counters on someone.
Yeah, as it turns out, poison counters killing at 10 stack. Yeah, pretty good.
It,
We take that.
I mean, this is an automatic include for that deck. I know it's like $40 right now. It's not even out yet. I mean, but it's a Vorinclex. Even if it had a bad effect, it's still a Vorinclex. It's gonna have a price tag to it, no matter what.
Turns
So.
out, Wizards of the Coast likes cards that have anything to do with Phyrexian.
Yeah, there was. I thought. I mean, we'll probably see, but I thought there was supposed to be a cycle of Phyrexian Praetors in the set, and we'll see because we didn't look at all of them. So.
Hearing that, I think that's my cue to leave. I think I'm done with Magic. I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Alex, but it be like that.
I don't think we needed it, but sure.
I mean, I could be wrong. We're gonna see because we didn't look at all of them on purpose. But I'm gonna do one more, and then I'll have you talk about the next few, as long as they're they're rares and stuff. So the next one is Battle for Bredegard. 1 green white in Enchantment Saga, so it's in the right colors to be an enchantment, just point blank period. Then you create a 1/1 white human creature token, human warrior, sorry. In Chapter 1. Chapter 2, you can make an elf warrior creature token. Okay, elves and humans
Warriors
working
fight
together.
Resplendent Marshal.
Sure. In a perfect world where there's no racism, sure, humans and elves can work together. In many fantasies, they just don't. They hate each other. And then Chapter 3 is choose any number of artifact tokens and or creature tokens you control with different names. For each of them, create a token that's a copy of it. So, at its very worst, as long as there's no removal that's happened, on Chapter 3, you're going to make another human warrior creature token and another elf warrior creature token. I mean, that's it.
Which isn't particularly useful,
Nah, it
but
makes 4 tokens for 3 mana over the course
yeah,
of 3 turns.
yeah, not great, but definitely has the ability to be insane. It's very unfortunate that it doesn't make them non-legendary in the case of getting a legendary.
Yeah,
Uh,
so I mean, obviously goes in a token deck.
oh yeah,
Because I mean, hopefully these aren't the only tokens you're making in the deck. Otherwise, what is this card doing there? But
yeah,
if, for say, I put this in my Gave Guru of Sports deck or Gave, sorry, people who I don't know have a thing about how that name is said, but and I make 20 Saprolings and I just turn it into 40 Saprolings. That's pretty nuts. So it can be good, and I definitely think it will see play in Commander, especially any deck that proliferates as well, because you can get this from Chapter 1 to Chapter 2, because the that's a lore counter on them for
yep,
each
sure is,
chapter. So with Vorin
sure
Klex,
is technically
it
a counter.
automatically comes in with 2 counters. You don't have to wait 3 turns to get all the effects. It's just 2 turns. Pretty good. Not too bad.
We also have
Yep.
Halvar, God of Battle, 2 white. Another god. Creatures you control that are enchanted or equipped have double strike. I love this card already. At the beginning of each combat, you may attach target aura or equipment attached to a creature you control for free. You can just do it. And then he also has a flip side, the Sword of Realms, 1 and a white. Equipped creature gets 2/0 and has vigilance. Whenever the creature dies, return it to the owner's hand. Equip 1 and a white. I think both sides of this card are amazing, but I think the front side for actually Halvar is honestly insane, and I love him. I think he's super sick. And I will continue to sit here and say that I think this card is sick until somebody proves me wrong, and then I will hope that I never encounter that scenario.
All right, Alex. Well, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but it is white, which means it is weak.
No,
And
no, 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 no.
oh, okay, yeah, sorry.
No.
Yeah, no, this card's good. I like it a lot. Just your equipment's just get all your equipment say double strike as long as he's on the field.
It also says equip for free.
Swiftfoot boots, double strike. Lightning greaves, double strike. A
Sure does in
sword
fact
of
say
fire
that.
and ice, double strike.
Colossus Hammer, double strike.
Did you need sword of fire and ice to say double strike? Probably not, but now it does.
Yeah, it
It's
certainly
great.
does.
No, it's super good.
Yeah, love it. We also have Kaya the Inexonerable, legendary planeswalker. With a +1, put ghost form counter on up to 1 target non-token creature. It gains when this creature dies or is in exile. Return it to the owner's hand and put a 1/1 spirit token with flying. That's super useful, actually. That's actually really helpful. It just says I'm not letting my things just die.
Yeah, and I mean this is white black. This is Orzhov. We know what
Yeah,
Orzhov
it
does.
is. It is the color pairing for doing just exactly that.
Orzhov wants things to die. Orzhov wants things to ETB. I mean, when it dies or is put into exile, return it to your hand and make a 1/1. So you not only, if I don't know, they kill your, you're gonna go infinite. You're gonna kill everybody with your oh boy, I don't even, what is it? Zulaport Cutthroat, let's say, right? Well, this just saves your Zulaport Cutthroat and made you a 1/1, which you can sack, and then your Zulaport Cutthroat that comes back in can get rid of. Um, Alternatively, this can be, I think, just I mean, put Chain Veil with this, right? You double up on, is it Chain Veil? I think it's Chain Veil that you can activate Planeswalker abilities twice. So you can put it on your guy, you can kill it, it comes back, you make a 1/1, you put your guy back out, you +1 Kaya again, you kill it, you put it back in your hand, you make another 1/1, you sack the 2/1/1s. You get that's four death triggers and four ETB triggers. So
Yeah, it's Chain Veil is 4 tap Chain Veil, activate the ability an additional time.
yeah, so
Okay. But it also has the -3 exile target non-land permanent.
I mean that's great.
I guess.
No, that's it's
Like
a
it's in the colors that just do this really well, so I'm
yeah.
really underwhelmed by it, and
Yeah,
I
I mean
just
you're
kind
right.
of don't care.
It does do it in pretty much the only colors that do this, right? Where like blue, it'd usually like bring it back at some point, right?
Mhm.
Um, you have cards like Path to Exile that exiles creatures. You have
Like
um,
it's not a bad effect, but it's
ex-
just like it's in the color pairing that just does this.
yeah. I mean, but she just she does it.
Yeah, it's
But
cool that we have it,
I
I
understand what you're
guess.
saying. There are cards in white and black that do this that cost much less.
Mhm.
Um, but the fact that I mean, we already like the +1, right? So
Yep.
the fact that it's -3 is this. I mean, it's like having two cards, right? Just for the +1 and the -3.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Because the +1 is Kaya's Ghost Form. It's a card called
Which
Kaya's
is
Ghost Form,
amazing.
which usually brings it back to the battlefield. But
Actually, this is better Ghost Form, by the way, the +1, because it gives you a counter. Instead of just being like it has to
oh,
happen this
right,
turn,
right,
which
right.
is
Oh, you're
so
right.
much better.
That is, yeah. Okay, so
So much better.
I mean, if it did exactly what Kaya's Ghost Form did, it would be pretty busted. Especially if you proliferated and you just put massive amounts of counters. But you can't put like more than one counter on it because when it dies, it doesn't have that other
It
counter.
sheds all
So
counters. Yeah.
yeah. But exiling a target non-land permanent, I'm not gonna knock it. I think it's fine. It's literally. I mean, she's the leader of red white, right? I mean, white black, right? So
Yeah.
she. I mean, let's go. It's kind of cool. I don't know if she's a leader, but she's obviously a main character in those colors. So
Yeah. But she also has the ultimate of a -7. Get an emblem. Uh, at the beginning of your upkeep, you may cast a legendary spell from your hand or graveyard from among cards you own in exile, or from among cards you own in exile without paying its mana cost. So basically, if it's in your hand, graveyard, or in exile, and it's a legendary spell, you can cast it.
yeah, so there's kind of a thing, and I do play arena still. And I'm wondering if it's gonna work this way now. In Arena, there was a set, Throne of Eldraine, that came with adventure spells, right? Well, when you cast it for its adventure, it goes into exile. Well, Kaya lets you cast spells from exile, right? So usually you cast the instant and sorcery side of it in order to put it in exile. It kind of counts as two cards, right? Now, can Kaya just keep because it's in exile? Can Kaya keep casting it for that adventure part? And like, so let's say I'm playing black, white, blue, and I have like a brazen borrower. I cast brazen borrower for 2 for its adventure side, and I bounce a non-land permanent to your hand. Usually, when it's on an adventure, it's in exile, right? You have the only thing you can do after that is cast Brazen Bar over the creature. But can you just cast the 2 mana bounce instead, just constantly? I mean, it's at upkeep, and then when you cast it for its adventure side, does it just go back into exile? So do you just forever have a bounce spell in your possession It's kind
Hmm.
of yeah. I wonder.
Hmm.
Um, I
I
mean,
would want deliberation on that. Yeah, that's
yeah.
interesting.
Other than that, I mean, I this is finally I have been waiting for a card that allows me to interact with my exile pile as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some cards
Yeah,
that
it's
do
just
that,
not a lot.
but I mean, this one just innately. I mean, you get an emblem. This is a forever thing. So, obviously, Kaya doesn't have to stay on the battlefield.
Sure is an emblem.
Uh-huh.
Man, emblems are good.
They are great.
But we also have Realm Walker for 2 and a green. It's a changeling, so it's every creature type, which
Mm-hmm.
is always a positive if you're running anything that's a Lord card. Uh, as Realm Walker enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Okay, so I just get to pick it. That's fine. Uh, you may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast creature spells of the chosen type from the top of your library. So if you're playing anything tribal, you have an additional hand?
An extension of your hand.
Yeah.
And
Actually,
it's
no, I would actually
mostly
still go as far as to say an additional hand. Because you say, for example, you cast top card. I'm gonna go with Elf Tribal because I play Elf Tribal. So you cast, you get an Elf. Your next card, you probably have like what, 30 elves ish, maybe somewhere around there.
yeah. I mean, as long as you're not hitting. Here's the thing: is that you can't guarantee it's always going to be an elf. And
Yeah, obviously,
but
but I'm
I
saying like it does mean that it is in effect more than one card on average,
yeah. So that's why I say
or not average,
extension
but on
because
like a reasonable chance.
it's like if this card leaves, right, you don't get to
Yeah, then
keep
it's gone.
doing
Yeah,
it. So that's why I say extension. But
yeah, I agree.
for yeah, I mean you're right in that thought process. It does pretty much work like that. I'm glad that tribal gets this kind of card.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of like, oh, if there's a land on the top, you get to play it. But um, I'm glad to start seeing these. Look at the top card at any time, especially because like it makes me feel like if I play this card, I kind of it's a really lackluster one, but I mean, I don't have a Sensei's Dividing Top, and this effect always reminds me of like kind of getting to be the player who has Sensei's Dividing Top, looking at the top cards all the time.
Oh, this card. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but it's Sensei's isn't I haven't ever been able to justify actually buying one. So,
Yeah.
but
So
yeah, I
it's
think
definitely
that's
a
a good
bargain for
card
a
for
Sensei.
sure.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it's probably, as long as green is in your color identity, probably going to be a mainstay for tribal.
I'm gonna go off camera real quick, but I'm still here.
Okay. Do you want me to go on the next card?
Yeah.
Okay. We also have Magda, Brazen Outlaw, legendary creature, dwarf berserker. Other dwarves you control get 1/0. Whenever a dwarf you control becomes tapped, create a treasure token. Okay, so he ramps. Cool. We take it. Sacrifice 5 treasure tokens. Search your library for an artifact or a dragon card. Put it on. Put that card onto the battlefield. Shuffle library. Going back to Dragonkin Berserker from earlier. While he isn't a dragon or a dwarf,
Or an artifact.
or yeah, dragon, dwarf, or an artifact, I feel like they go pretty well together. Pretty spicy.
Yeah, I think they can. I mean, if you have him on the field and you're like, oh, sacrifice 5 treasures, find a dragon, he now makes the boast cost less, to
Yeah.
which he can make more dragons.
Yep.
I
That's
think
how I see it.
I think in Commander that kind of synergy would be better. In Standard, I don't see those two cards working together.
No, I agree.
We
Yeah,
talk
that's what I'm
Commander
talking
here,
about.
so I don't. I like to always mention Standard a little bit, just because obviously it's a Standard set.
Standard peasants.
For those who don't play standard, I can kind of oh, my screen. I can just kind of like say like, some people are like, oh, why'd they make this? And it's like, here's kind of why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this card's great. I like it a lot.
Yeah, pretty cool card. I like it. I'm a fan.
All right, now we have Pyre of Heroes. It's an artifact for 2 mana, and it has 2 tap, sacrifice a creature. Search your library for a creature card that shares a creature type with the sacrifice creature, and has converted mana cost equal to 1 plus that creature's converted mana cost. Put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. This is dope. This goes in every Yisan deck. You know why? Because it does what Yisan does. What does Yisan do? Yisan, the Wandering Bard, taps and just he gets a counter on him, and then you find a creature with converted mana cost equal to the number of counters on him. So effectively, if once he's able to tap, he taps. You get 1. That's 1 CMC. Then the next turn it's 2 CMC. Then 3. Then 4. Then 5. Well, that card that you find is pretty sweet because sometimes there's multiples of like that converted mana cost that you want. But you only get to find it once with Yisan. You get to choose one of the many that you have, and it's often that you'd like to find, more. So if there's one that has an ETB effect, and Yisan found it, right, then you can sacrifice it, and you can get to the next one. And then you kind of keep doing that. Yisan goes to, let's say he goes to 2, and you already sacrificed the 1 CMC one to find the 2 CMC. Yisan finds you another 2 CMC. You can sacrifice the old 2 CMC so that you can keep finding. It's very good. It's in Yisan. It's just straight tutoring because Yisan is very strong and will hit hard very quickly. I think this card in that scenario is very, very good. I think in almost every scenario it's very, very good. If your opponent's like, hey, I'm going to have to exile this creature, and you're just like, nope, I'm going to get a better one, actually. But hey, thanks for forcing me to do that. And then you get sad because you find out that they just had a murder anyways, and they were like, I'm going to kill that too.
Turns out, if you're ever playing black, you definitely have murder in hand. The unspoken rule, you definitely have murder.
Yeah, sometimes.
I have the cursed luck of my opponents will always have murder if I don't want them to have murder.
I mean, if you're playing against me, I have murder or cards like murder or murderous rider.
If it's not called murder, but it has the effect of murder, it's murder.
Yeah. Cast down, which is one cheaper than murder.
Cast down is murder.
I will put cast down in every black deck. I don't care.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Card's insane.
Oh, I only targets non-legendaries. I don't care. It's 2 mana. Kill this thing.
Yeah, it probably affects.
Are you joking? Why would you not play that if you're playing black? It's 2 mana removal.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
And it's 95% effectiveness probably.
So you can't. Oh, I can't get rid of their braids. Who cares? You don't want to get rid of braids anyways. I can't get rid of Vorinclex. That's fine. There's so many other cards that can get rid of Vorinclex.
Yeah.
It's play cast down, please. It's a 2 mana removal spell. It's fantastic. Okay, on to the next one. Showdown of the Skalds. 2 red-white. It's another saga. And chapter 1, exile the top 4 cards of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. This is Red's version of card draw. And sometimes you hit that one thing you've been looking for, and you're super pissed because you don't actually have mana anymore. Because when you play this card, well, it's still end of next turn. But if you hit like that dragon you've been looking for, maybe you want it in the graveyard just to bring it back, or I don't know, whatever you're doing. I can't say I like too much of these effects. But if you're playing Fires of Invention, this is fantastic because then you could cast those cards. You can cast one of them now and then one later. Chapter 2 and 3 are both the same with whenever you cast a spell. This turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. That's definitely a white thing right there. The first chapter is a red thing. So there you go. And then we move on to page 5.
You forgot to talk about the new land.
The new lands? Everybody can see the new lands. I'm not going to talk about the new lands.
That have nothing special about them.
I
But they're
mean,
new.
they're okay. They're technically, I don't know. Listen, I don't know why Wizards just couldn't be like, okay, here's the thing. Statistics say time and time and time and time again that like dual lands and fetch lands don't necessarily improve your rate of your win rate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I need Wizards to know that because I need dual lands so that I can win more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it would just be nice, but whatever.
Would be very helpful as it turns
It
out.
is. It would have been nice
Having
if
the
they
right
were
land.
actually like land types. Like if they had a land type, that would have been
Mhm.
sweet.
Instead of just being, yeah, these are lands.
Yeah. So that you could like, oh, I'm just gonna go search for a forest, and you're like, oh, this is the modal double face card. That's a green and a red, but it's a forest and a mountain. I'm gonna find the one that I need. Now, I think the problem with that is that you find the mountain and someone tries to play it for its forest side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that
Oh
kind of.
yeah, I forgot they were double-sided. I forgot
Yeah,
about
I
that.
don't know. I just
Why
reprint
are
them.
they not allowed to be?
Well, no, they can't reprint dual lands because dual lands are worth so much. They crashed the market entirely.
No, I'm
so.
just saying why couldn't they just give us this one is a swamp or a
Yeah.
plains?
But I think that's why. But it would have just been easy for them to say, hey, whichever find that you're side that you're gonna go find, like if your card says find a forest, you cannot find the swamp forest that is specifically a swamp on one side and then play the swamp just because it says forest on the other side.
Yeah.
You have to play the actual forest side. Okay, so
but getting back on track.
yeah, go ahead.
Next up we have Turgrid, God of Fright, for 3 black with Menace. Whenever an opponent sacrifices a non-token permanent, discard or discards a permanent card, you may put that card from your graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. The front side is, in my eyes, not as useful as the back side, which is Turgrid's Lantern for 3 and a black. So a little bit less expensive. It is a legendary artifact. Tap, target player loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. And it also has the option of 3 and a black, untap Turgid's Lantern.
Yeah.
This card is very wordy.
It is.
Collectively.
Very
wordy.
But I think it fits in a very specific strategy.
It's definitely not an all-purpose card, but the scenarios that it's good is very useful in those scenarios.
There are times it kind of could be an all-purpose. Like, so think about it. If you're just playing, like, I don't know, a deck that just has black in it, let's say, right? Obviously, it has to be black. But, let's say, I don't know, man. There's so many, like, cards that just untap target permanent, and you're like, tap F. Okay, untap it. Alright, retap it. Alright, you either lost 6 life or you sacrificed 2 things, or you discarded 2 cards. Like, if you find a way, if you're playing, like, a tap-on-tap deck, this card is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Because imagine doing that 10 times per turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's disgusting. Even
Destroy
playing it,
everybody's hands.
if I had a deck that, like, a deck that had black in it, obviously, that also, I don't know, had Seedborn Muse, this card would be great too, because you untap all your non-land permanents. Or, sorry, all permanents, right? So, you could, hey, untap this on each player's turn, and then punish each player each turn. That's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah. But we also have Tormentor's Helm for 1 and a red.
Nah,
Or
that's
sorry,
a
1 red.
common. We're
My
not
bad.
gonna do that one.
We're not going to talk about commons.
No, we're
So
just
we're
gonna talk.
do...
I mean, unless a common is really good, just like
Okay.
yeah.
Unless it's one of specific note. Okay.
We're getting a little bit into some long time here. Furja, we actually covered in one of our videos, and she's not bad. Um,
But we definitely have to talk about World Tree.
Yeah, we definitely have to talk about World Tree. So, hey, Roth, are you still there?
The card that Roth's
Maybe.
been waiting for us to
Yeah,
talk about.
he's been waiting for us to talk about it. I don't know, is he still in chat?
Solid, maybe.
All right,
I
well,
think that's a pretty good chance.
let's hope that he is. Anyways, so the World Tree. In a non-legendary land, by the way.
In fact.
And tap, add green. And it enters tap. Whoop, not too good. As long as you control 6 or more lands you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. That's pretty good because that is Chromatic Lantern put on a land, so
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, very, very useful.
I've been noticing just in my games that Chromatic Lantern has been being played a lot less because it's a 3 mana rock that, I mean, it's obviously better than just being a mana rock, but I'm not seeing it as much nowadays. I think it's a great card, but this is clearly better as being a land.
Oh, yeah.
And then if you do play a deck that has Chromatic Lantern in it, this is a great include. If you're playing Wooburg specifically. But it has double Wooburg, tap, sacrifice the World Tree, and search a library for any number of God cards, put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Now,
sure does it do that, as it turns out that is in fact...
If that wasn't strong enough, where's the card? I'm just gonna go find it real quick. Where you go? Is it that? Nope, it's not that one. It's not that one. Let's see. What's the next one? Go ahead and read Cosmos while I find this.
All right. So next up, we have a Cosmos Serpent. 3 green, blue. So 7 cost. Pretty expensive. Spell can't be countered. Very useful for the fact that it's 7 cost. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 3/3 blue serpent token named Cosmos Coil. Sacrifice this. Its activated abilities can't be activated this turn. Or you can choose Cosmos Serpent gains indestructible till end of turn. He's a 6/6. I like him by card art, and I'm sad that I don't like him by card effect.
Yeah, he's a little lackluster. Now, I don't know where this card is gone. I thought I had found it, but I think I was wrong.
He is pretty expensive. But we also have Essica, God of the Tree. Totally not Freya, I promise. Vigilance. With tap, add 1 mana of any color. Okay, cool. Other legendary creatures you control that have vigilance other legendary creatures you control have vigilance and tap, add 1 mana of any color. So they all just become get Essica front side effect. Okay. But she also has, on her backside, the Prismatic Bridge for Wooburg.
On her backside.
Talking about her.
Don't say it! It's
fine.
Oh, okay. I couldn't find the card, but the card I was talking about. Oh god. The card I was talking about was a new one in Kaldheim. I guess it's not on this list, perhaps, but Um, it turns every card you own that's whether it's in the on the battlefield or not into I think a specific creature type, and it's
I
so
might find it.
you can turn every creature in your deck into it. Just it is also a god.
Huh? Yeah, can in fact do that.
So you just with World
With a
Tree
card that does
find
that.
every single creature. If every single creature isn't already a god, well, you can make all of them gods and
They
then
are certainly
find
then
all
gods.
of them. And well, it's this is good.
Yeah, strong. But the effect of Prismatic Bridge, the legendary enchantment, being at the beginning of your upkeep, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature or planeswalker. Put that card onto the battlefield and the rest onto the bottom of your deck. Sorry, library in in a random order. So, Super Friends definitely exists.
So this screams not only Super Friends, but I mean just big dumb creatures. So like people
Oh
will
yeah,
be like,
just
"Oh,
big
Super
black.
Friends deck. Oh, what the hell?" Well, screw it. I'm playing Eldrazi's too, sucker. Like,
Yeah,
what's up? I'm playing
Eldrazi Super
Super
Friends.
Friends that like just come. I don't know, legendary planeswalkers that are just also commanding Eldrazi's to do their bidding. That's my
Yeah,
deck story.
yeah, sweet.
Um, yeah, this card's amazing. We have a video that where we talked about it. So if you want to hear more about our thoughts on it, go ahead and find it. Just saying, Seize the Spoils is a card that's going to be going with Magda, where it makes a treasure token, and it also draws you cards, so that's not too bad. Um, Coleman's Faithful, that goes in the mill strategies, that's not too bad. Village Rights, we've seen that before.
Side note: Coma's faithful not being in the color of Kozma.
Hey man, maybe you just gotta play a. Maybe Coma is secretly Sultai and has a dark side. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, Alex.
He's edgy secretly.
Yeah, Edge
Sick.
Lord. Um, Cosmos Charger. It's a 4 mana horse spirit with flash, flying, and foretelling cards from your hand. Costs one less and can be done on any player's turn. That's pretty good. If it were 3 mana, it would be really good. I think it should have been 3 mana. I mean, technically, it can be with Foretell. No, it's still 5 mana with Foretell because you spent 2 and then 3 to play it. So yeah, you can get it out on turn 3, but let's be honest, it's yeah. But it makes all your Foretells just to foretell them, right? It makes them 1 because Foretell costs 2. So if you got 2 of these out, you could foretell for 0. And that's more of a standard thing. In non-standard, obviously, EDH, if you copy it, your foretells are 0. But I don't know how often, like, I think foretell cards, as far as EDH is considered, they are going to be staples in their own rights in their very specific strategies.
Yeah.
This card will probably not find a home for any deck that I build unless they make more foretell cards.
Yep, that's what I was thinking as
It's
well.
just not. There's if you ever look at any set in Magic when they introduce a mechanic, there's like maybe that mechanic you'll see 6 or 7 cards per color. Um, and so this just being a mono blue card, it's not like a blue red, it's not a blue white. It doesn't, you have to mix it into into other colors in order to
Mhm.
make it work, the way it's intended. So for EDH, not going to be a card that I use. Hailstorm Valkyrie, 4 mana flying trample, 2 snow. It gets +2/+2 to end of turn. Eh, probably not going to throw it in much of anything, unless I play in the snow deck specifically.
Yeah.
Um, Sculptor of the Wind, untap target snowland. It's basically a 2 mana torque. It's not. If it were 1 mana, it could be good, but it's not. So hey. Um,
Uh, but we also have
Mm-hmm.
Kolvori. Sorry, my brain just was like, how do I read this word? Kolvori, god of kinship, 2 green green. As long as you control 3 or more legendary creatures, Kolvari gets 4/2 and gains vigilance. With the continued effect for 1 and a green, tap, look at the top 6 cards of your library, reveal a legendary creature from among them, put it into your hand, and the rest onto the bottom of your library in a random order. But it also has the flip side of the Ringheart Crest for 1 and a green. As Ringheart Crest enters the battlefield, choose a creature type, and the card also has the effect of tap, add green, spend this mana only to cast a creature spell of the chosen type or legendary creature spell.
Yeah, so the legendary creature can be any type,
Mm-hmm.
but the regular creature has to be tribal.
I just don't see this card in any sort of favorable light. I just don't see it being particularly useful.
I mean that 2 mana tap, dig through for your legendaries if you're playing, I don't know, maybe mono green legendary tribal or just a legendary tribal, like a historic tribal deck where you're
Oh
playing a
yeah,
lot
I
of
guess.
legendary
Yeah,
creatures.
but
Um,
anything that's shy of that,
but yeah, nah, it's
there's no
very
point.
very specific.
Super niche.
I'm not even sure it'll
Um,
be good in standard, but yeah.
Probably not. Actually, not of gods that there are.
I don't think I've seen this card. What's this? Alex, the next one?
Ah, okay. Sorry, I
Yeah.
thought you were saying you read it.
No.
Okay.
It's all...
You're talking about Path of the World Tree
Yeah, this is
or
what's
Path to the
the
World Tree?
yeah,
Sorry.
World Tree. Another
Uh,
another card that says World Tree.
yeah. As it turns out, World Tree is important. Something, something, something. Norse mythology, whatever.
Well,
1 and a green. Uh, when Path to the World Tree enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle your library.
okay.
Eh.
It
Cool.
doesn't
I'll
put
take.
on it doesn't put on the battlefield, so
Yeah. And it's only an enter the battlefield effect, too, for an enchantment. Yikes. But it also has 2 Wooburg. Sacrifice Path of the World Tree. Gain 2 life. Draw 2 cards. Target opponent loses 2 life. Path of the World Tree deals 2 damage. Up to 1... Deals up to 2 damage to 1 target creature. You create a 2/2 green 4. Or bear, sorry. Reading hard, apparently.
okay.
That's a lot of do twos.
Yeah,
For
two. If
7 mana,
if you're playing a Uber 2 tribal deck, this is the card for you. 2 mana, 2 in Wooburg, 2 life, 2 cards. They lose 2, you deal 2, you get a 2/2. What the hell is this?
like it does a lot of things. It doesn't do enough
I
of
don't
the
even think.
individual things.
I
Is
mean,
my
the
issue.
only reason I think it even deserves an uncommon stamp is the fact
The
that
end of the
there's
battlefield.
more after that. There's more after the ETB,
Yeah.
right?
If it wasn't for like the continuation for the ETB, this card would be like
I
non.
mean, but it even I don't know. We'll see.
I just don't see it being
I'll
useful.
probably get crushed on Arena with it, but other than that, that's all I'm gonna say about it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna skip a couple here. Cool forging of Tyrite's sword. Creates treasure tokens. Cool. And finds you Halvar. Okay. Or an equipment. Okay. Um, make exchange control of 2. Okay, so that's just control. Calamity Bear, 2 red giant berserker. If a giant source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead. Giant tribal, giants are huge, right? They're probably not going to be 1/1, so that damage you're doing is probably, decent.
Yeah.
It's probably not more that needs to be said about that card, to be honest. It's pretty straightforward and simple. It's just
Pretty face value card.
giants do double damage. Heard that.
But we also have Goldspan Dragon for 3 red. Flying Haste. Whenever Goldspan Dragon attacks or becomes target of a spell, create a treasure token. Treasure you control have tap, sacrifice this artifact, add 2 mana.
This is definitely worthy of that mythic stamp. 100%. I mean,
For sure.
I mean,
It pays for itself. Literally.
yeah.
And it also
This
just
this
makes the
is
treasure
great.
better.
Yeah, I mean, oh my god, your treasures. I mean, okay, hold on. Here's the
There's
thing.
so
Let
many
me
cards
let
that
me
can make
gather
treasure.
myself because this is quite good. Um, let's say you're playing like you have white in your deck as well, right? And maybe not just Boros. Maybe it's like 3 color or whatever. It doesn't matter. Smothering Tithe. Anytime they draw a card, if they don't pay 2, you make a treasure. That treasure now taps for 2.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, heard that. Not much else that needs to be said. I think it's an amazing card. Um,
certainly strong.
okay, sure. Um, the next card's pretty good, especially in Commander. I think this is sweet for tribals. Reflections of Lit Yara, 5 mana enchantment in blue. When it ETBs, you choose a creature type. Whenever you cast a spell of the chosen type, copy that spell. Permanence. A copy of a permanent spell becomes a token. So you could choose creature type. I don't know what's the creature type. Creature type. So it's not artifact creatures. It's like dragons, wolves, you name it. That's just what's on my screen. That's why I said that. Giants,
Art is good.
leviathans, stuff like that. Sphinxes. This could be really,
Practically
really good in Sphinx decks. I have seen Sphinx decks, and this card is probably an auto staple in that because whenever you cast a Sphinx, well, you get 2 of them. Sweet.
we also have Serulf Realm Eater for 1 black and a green. Whenever you put a permanent, whenever a permanent an opponent controls is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on Serulf. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Serulf has 1 or more 1/1s on it, you may remove all of them. If you do, exile each other non-land permanent with converted mana cost of less or equal to the number of counters removed.
Mm-hmm.
Sure does just say that, huh? Sure does just say build counters on this and build warp for board wipe if you ever need it. Huh.
Yep. I think we talked about this in a video too, so there's not much I'm going to say about it.
Yeah, we did.
It does
sure
what
does
it
say all
says it
those
does,
things.
so I think it's good.
But we also have Varagoth, Blood Sky Sire for 2 and a black. With Death Touch and Boast coming back again. With 1 and a black, target player searches the library for a card, then shuffles the library and puts that card on the top of it.
Listen, this is so good.
He's really good.
It is so good. It's not just good for you. It's good for politicking as well. When there's something on the board and you know in your deck, maybe you don't have the answer for it, you can say, hey, do you have the answer for it? Talking to X other player. And then you're just like, they're like, yeah, I do have an answer for it. Well, let me hit you real quick for 2, and then I'll pay 2, and I'll target you. You find that card, and then you take care of that. Just don't hurt me. And yeah, okay, no problem. This for politicking, this card is insane. It's bananas. If I mean, just like, oh, someone played Craterhoof. The best target is you to attack, but if you're just like, bruh, don't hit me, I'll hit you instead, and then I'll give you a card. I'll give you whatever present you want, and they're gonna say yes. They're going to say absolutely 100% yes. The card's stupid. Uh, yeah. You got Alrund, God of the Cosmos. We talked about him too. Alrund gets +1/+1 for each card in your hand, and each for told card you own in exile. At the beginning of your end step, choose a card type. Then reveal the top two cards of the library. Put all the cards of the chosen type in your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Um, eh, I don't know about getting a mythic stamp for that. That's quite overkill, I think. If anything, I'm probably thinking that this is more on the uncommon side, to be honest with you. But it's just me. The other side
For who
is,
he is, he definitely has to be a myth.
yeah, at most.
Nah, he's totally gotta be, dude.
No, I don't
You
care
know
if
who
he's
he is.
Odin, dude. It's he.
Huh.
He's a rare at
Look at
best.
that bird. Look at the bird just
At
hanging out.
best,
Look at him.
he's a rare at best. Haka, Whispering Raven. That's the other side of him. Legendary creature bird. So, if you wanted to just actually secretly do bird tribal, mono blue flyers, I guess, or birds. Whenever Haka deals combat damage to a player, return it to its owner's hand and then scry 2. And I don't know. Nah. Not for me. Um,
You
eh,
got
don't worry
Elvish.
about don't worry about that one. Go with the troll. Do the troll.
Troll. Ooh, this boyo.
Yeah, that one.
Oh yeah, he does definitely exist. He certainly does do all of these things, by the way. He is green, old growth troll with trample. He is a 4/4. When old growth troll dies, if it was a creature, return it to the battlefield. It's an aura enchantment with enchant forest you control. An enchanted forest has tap add green and 1 tap sacrifice this land, create a tapped 4/4 troll warrior token creature with trample.
Mm-hmm.
Sure does say all of that, doesn't it?
Yeah, this goes with my Corvold deck. 100%.
Sure does just read this card is really good.
So, turn 3 you play Old Growth Troll. Turn 4 you do whatever. Turn 5 you play Corvold. Corvold ETBs. You have to sacrifice something. You sacrifice the Old Growth Troll. It comes back as an aura enchantment. If you have the mana, you pay. Well, if you have the mana, then you have a land. But you pay 1 and tap to sacrifice the land, and you make a 4/4. And then if you have like a lightning creeps out and you attack with the Corvold, then you can sacrifice that troll too. So what do? You drew a card because you killed it with the ETB from Corvold. Then you sacrificed the land, so this went away as well. Didn't really go away, kind of turns into a 4/4, so that's 2 sacrifices, that's 2 draws. And then when you attack, you get rid of the 4/4 troll, and that's 3 draws, 3 +1 counters, +1/+1 counters. Okay, this going straight into my Corvold deck. But other than that, I mean, it's good in just other strategies too, where, hey, you play him and he dies, he ramps you. You need a blocker, you pay 1, boom, you got a blocker. Cool. I think it's a great card. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think they were really, like, that card is like, that's a smart card.
Oh, yeah.
I can't really tell you exactly what that means, but it's a smart
It's a card that you can
It
has a
has
lot of
so much
uses.
versatility, yeah. And I think they did
I
it
want to
right.
use it as a creature. Cool. It's a pretty decent creature for a reasonable cost.
Yeah, I mean, they did it right. One, obviously, it ramps, so it has to be in green. And it's a fairly, for its mana cost, it's a big creature. So that, again, is green. And trample, again, is green. So kind of does all that. But I think it was smart that they made it green, green, green because in multicolored decks, it means that it makes it that much harder to get it out if you
Hmm.
don't have just a bunch of multicolored lands.
Yep.
We talked about Cole in the video. Well, watch that video, please. Um, uh, Inga also, she's not. I don't like her. Don't worry about
I
that.
forgot she existed.
Yep. Oh boy, Nico Eris, huh? The non-binary planeswalker that the creator said in the same article that mentioned it being a non-binary. He said, "Yeah, he's awesome." Oh, way to go there. X white blue blue. Nico Eris is a legendary planeswalker. Nico, rare. Sorry, a mythic stamp. That I'm not sure. Let's see. When it ETBs, you create X shard tokens. That's shard. Not. Where'd you go?
Something happened to me?
Oh, you blanked away. But you're good. Um, it actually happened like a minute ago because of the delay. So I
Mm,
only just noticed now. So in the
gotcha.
playback, it probably looks weird where I'm just like, what happened? And nothing happened.
All good.
Um, You make shard tokens. Shard with a D, not a T, okay? I think it would have been fantastic if it was a T. I think it would have deserved a mythic stamp if it was with a T. Um, but its plus one is up to one target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. Whenever a creature deals damage this turn, return it to its owner's hand. Okay. Minus one, Nico Eris deals 2 damage to target tapped creature for each card you've drawn this turn. Okay.
-1, that makes me sad.
There are cards that, maybe you drew a lot. You drew for turn, so that's 2 damage. Maybe you played a draw spell, you drew 2 more cards. That's 6 damage.
Yeah, but it's
Uh,
just
but it's 6 damage to one creature.
this
Which
card is just so
minus
underwhelming.
1, you get to create a shard token. Shard tokens, by the way, are enchantments. They're not artifacts. They're enchantments with 2 sacrifices enchantment, scry 1, then draw a card. That's enough of that. We talked about Valky. There's a lot we could talk about Valky. So
He does a lot.
he does stuff.
Also a very very
Then we have dual snow tap lands.
we definitely take those.
So yeah,
We're very
we
happy to see them.
definitely take those. I'd
Um,
rather see those than modal double face cards, to be honest.
oh yeah.
Just because for those people playing snow strategies, this is good. Um,
Hmm?
we got Blood on the Snow, which is 4 black snow sorcery. This is a snow card. Choose one, destroy all creatures, destroy all planeswalkers. That no matter which one you choose, then return a creature or planeswalker card with converted mana cost X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the amount of snow mana spent to cast a spell. It's not too bad. I mean, you destroy everything, right? So you get one of your things back. So this is fantastic in like Nevin Earl, where he dies, you destroy everything, and you get to bring Nevin Earl back. Which, when he comes back, he makes 2/2s for each thing that died. So, or maybe it's each thing your opponent's. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure it's just things that died, but yeah, it's great. I like it. It's a little expensive for being a rare. I think 5 was more. It's more its speed, but um, otherwise make it an uncommon. But I think it's too powerful for an uncommon. So just make it 5 CMC next time, Wizards, please. Thank you. Um, Harald, we did technically talk about him, but there was audio issues in that video,
Oh,
so Go
Such a
ahead.
shame. This card is so wordy. It has so much text, and that text is for Harald, King of Scrimfar, for 1 black green legendary creature elf warrior with menace. When Harald enters the battlefield, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal an elf, warrior, or Tyvar card from among them. Put it into your hand, the rest onto the bottom of your library in a random order. Eh. It's cool that he gives you the ability to or a warrior. But let's be honest, I think the elf part is the more important part. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, eh. Your Discord is it's hanging out on stream.
No, I know.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure you knew.
Yeah. Oh god, what am I doing now? Okay, we're good.
Yeah, I'm just underwhelmed by him. I feel like he would go best in Golgari elves. But aside from that, we do have Jorn, God of Winter, for 2 and a green.
I
He's a
did.
god.
So that Finn deck, we'll be talking about Finn soon, but that Finn deck that I tested out earlier today, I played against a Jordan deck. Not bad. Give it about maybe 2 3 more turns. I was definitely dead.
Ooh.
So it was not bad. But go ahead. Sorry.
And Jorn, God of Winter, for 2 and a green. His front side has, whenever Jorn attacks, untap each snow permanent you control. That, a lot of things.
Yep.
That could be an awful lot of things, and he's not that expensive.
It is. It is also on attack. It's on
Yeah.
attack. So,
Yep.
yeah, you can. So
It's
on attack, he
declaration.
effectively has vigilance. Really, it should have just said vigilance on him because he untaps himself. Also,
Does in fact do that.
yeah. So all your lands, all your snow permanents. If you made something else a snow permanent with one of your blue cards, because that's a thing from back in the day from Ice Age.
Yep.
Yeah, it just you would make your permanents into snow permanents. So if you had, I don't know, an artifact that cared about devotion, maybe you'd untap that too. So
But we also have the backside being Kaldheim, the Rhyme Staff, for 1 blue black. So that means that if you play him as your commander, you have green, blue, and black all as your color identity. That's really helpful. That's giving you access to a lot of very useful cards and can problem solve pretty much anything.
yeah, this deck would not really be very good if it didn't have access to those colors. So
Yeah, I agree. But it also, for this artifact, it has tap. You may play target snow permanent card from your graveyard this turn. If you do, it enters the battlefield tapped.
it's not bad. I mean, it's recursion.
Yeah.
It's what blue black does really well. Not
Yeah,
blue
it's
by
recursion
itself, but
every
blue
turn.
black. So pretty much just black. But yeah, it's not bad. I like it.
Yeah, both sides are good.
Tyvar. I think no, we didn't talk about him because we didn't talk about planeswalkers.
Yep.
Tyvar Kel. He's 2 green green legendary planeswalker. Elves you control tap have tap add black. So obviously this goes in a green black Golgari elf deck, which from Commander Legends made Golgari elves very viable. +1, put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target elf. Untap it against Death Touch until end of turn. So I mean, it taps for a black. Maybe it already taps for a green. So you +1 and you get to untap it, and now it taps for a green and a black. And it's also bigger. It also has Death Touch. 0, create a 1/1 green elf warrior creature token. And -6, you get an emblem with whenever you cast an elf spell, It gains haste until end of turn, and you draw 2 cards. And you draw 2 cards. Because it wasn't enough that it got haste. And
Yeah,
you
no, it wasn't.
draw 2 cards.
And again,
Oh.
to reinforce this, you get an emblem.
Yep. He leaves, it just happens.
You sure do end up with an emblem with a pretty solid plus effect.
We got Tybalt's Trickery, which is 1 in a red. It just says counter target spell. And then other things. I don't want to get into it because I think that they gave red something and they took it away immediately afterwards. And it's just for me kind of like a slap in the face. Taralf, God of Fury.
No, dude, you mispronounced the MCU.
What? Oh, Loki? Yeah, okay.
Nah, you
Oh, well,
mispronounced the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe.
heard that. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, sorry.
yeah.
I think we already talked about him in a video. I'm not sure, though.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. We'll watch that video. Carter, I think we talked about him, but
We
again, that
did.
video's not up. That video didn't go live. I think we talked about him.
We did.
When Carter Doom Scourge enters the battlefield until your next turn, creatures your opponents control attack each combat if able, and attack a player other than you if able. Whenever an attacking creature dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. That's not one of your creatures. That's one of their creatures, and someone's creature's definitely gonna die. Probably
Yeah.
a lot. This is red black. That means it's dude, it's Rakdos
Good at killing
sacrifice
shit.
decks. So you're gonna be killing. It doesn't have to be. Oh, well, it is whenever an attacking creature dies. So, but you can do some combat tricks. You can play cards that say target creature gets death touch. And then like if they're like, okay, well I'll just block your 1/1 with my 2/2, and you're like, I'm gonna give it death touch real quick, and then they lose a life. But you just kind of use that on someone else's thing, not your thing. I don't know. It's interesting. I do. It's insane that it literally goads every creature on ATB for 4 mana. Usually spells that cost 4. I mean, especially if they're gonna have an uncommon stamp on them, they at most will goad 1 creature. Not all of them. 1. So that card's already amazing in comparison to other cards that goad.
Strong card.
We already did Morite.
That video went live? Or
Or
was that on that video? I got messed up, because I'm pretty sure it was.
Go ahead and talk about Morite.
Got Moray of the Frost for 2 green, blue, blue. He is a shapeshifter, so he has Changeling. When he enters the battlefield as a copy of a permanent you control, except he's legendary, and snow, in addition to its other types. He enters the battlefield also with 2/1/1 counters.
If it's a creature. Yep.
Yeah.
And it has Changeling, which means he's still everything. So.
Which is, yeah, so he's everything.
It's just tribal.
Yeah.
Tribal.
Tribal card. Here
That's
you
it. Okay, bye-bye.
Have fun, Tribal.
Let's see. What else we got? Draugr Necromancer, 3 in a black, zombie cleric. So it can go in a cleric deck. It's a snow creature. And if a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, exile that card with an ice counter on it instead. You may cast spells from among cards in exile your opponent's own with ice counters on them. You may spend mana as from snow sources as though it were mana of any color to cast those spells. So the important kind of thing that they did with the wording here is that usually something like this would say you cast it as though it were, well, yeah. I was gonna say mana of any kind, but it's not any kind because it has to be snow. It's still snow. So it's just any color. So never mind what I said. Yeah, probably not bad.
We
Faceless.
also have. Oh,
Oh, you go ahead.
oh, I didn't even see Faceless Haven.
Yeah.
Is a snowland with tap and colorless. For snow, 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 Faceless Haven becomes a 4/3 creature with vigilance, and all creature types until the end of turn, it's still land.
Yeah. So when I saw this, when I saw this, I said this goes in a Magda deck because Magda wants you to tap dwarves to make treasures.
Yeah.
Well, when you make this into a 4/3 with all creature types,
Hmm.
it's still a land. You can tap it for mana.
Hmm.
That's a dwarf tapping,
It is.
so you get a treasure.
Yeah.
And with the dragon, that's 2 mana for the treasure. Like,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
yeah, cool.
Yeah.
This was the
Situation
card that I was talking about, Alex. Go ahead and read.
Basswood
Yeah, yeah,
Nexus.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the one
Yeah, this is the
that.
one I was looking at a minute ago. I haven't read through it yet, but it has, as an artifact for 4, creatures you control are every creature type.
Are you okay?
Yeah,
Okay, you want to continue?
I'm just gonna let that sink in really quick.
No, no. Go ahead. Keep going.
The same is true for creature spells you control and creature cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. Okay.
Uh
Yeah.
huh. Yep.
And this is a rare.
Yeah, this should have been
Right?
a mythic,
I'm not
and it
colorblind,
probably
right?
should have been legendary, and it goes with the world tree because
Yeah.
everything's a god. So you,
Mm,
I
that
mean,
sure does say that.
if you want, you can put the. I mean, okay, so check it out. You're playing Magda, right? Oh, well, no, you're not. Not with world tree. Never mind. Don't worry about it. Well, yeah, you're playing Magda. You play this card. Well, every card in your graveyard or in your deck is a dragon. So you find any creature, any of them, any.
Wow.
They're all dragons.
Yeah, they are. Huh.
Yeah, yeah. Turns out.
It also has 3 tap, create a 2/2 blue shapeshifter creature token with changeling. So it's every creature type. But it's already every creature type because Maskwood Nexus says that it's every creature type.
Uh huh. But if Mass would Nexus would leave,
Yeah,
it's
I
still a
guess.
changeling.
Yeah.
Um,
And
Eradicator, Valkyrie, 2 black, Angel Berserker. Oh, it's got a mythic thing on it. Alright. Flying, lifelink protection from Planeswalkers. Okay. Has both sacrifice a creature. Each opponent sacrifices a creature. So it's kind of like. Uh, I mean, that's not bad. I think that is good. In certain deck strategies, obviously you like sacrifice strategies. Something like if you maybe you can't afford a Grave Pact, but like you open some packs and you got this card. This can be like an alternative to it. Also, if you already have Grave Pact and you just want more sacrifice outlets, this can be a really good sacrifice outlet. So each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. Um, this can be good. It can be good. Other than that, yeah, it is what it is.
yeah, we also have
Uh,
Quakebringer.
no, go ahead and read replicating ring. I think you'd like it.
Replicating Ring, the
Yeah.
uncommon. For 3. Snow artifact, tap. Add 1 mana of any color. Okay. So it's chromatic with extra text. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a night counter on Replicating Ring. Then, if it has 8 or more night counters on it, remove all of them and create 8 colorless snow artifact tokens named Replicated Ring with tap. Add 1 mana of any color.
8 turns go by, or you proliferate to get it to 8. You're gonna remove all of them.
Okay.
And then you're gonna make 8 mana rocks.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Now they're not treasures. which is unfortunate. But um, you know,
Okay.
it's an uncommon, and I think it's really good for being an uncommon,
Yeah, it's
especially in proliferate decks. I think is, I mean, you put this in a Traxa. I mean, it's not going to take long.
I, I think it's just generally good because it's just chromatic lantern but better.
Well, it doesn't do anything to your lands for what you already have. You have to
Oh
wait
yeah,
eight
chromatic does
turns.
the for okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
you
right.
have to wait 8 turns, but it gives you 8 more snow permanents, which can matter in certain decks.
Yeah, I don't know why my brain was just telling me that chromatic lantern's effect was tap add a color or add any color,
I mean, it is, but it
but
does.
it impacts your land. Yeah.
Yeah.
We also had Quake Bringer
Mm-hmm.
for 3 red. He is another giant. Your opponents can't gain life this turn, or can't gain life. Sorry, just in general. At the beginning of your upkeep, Quakebringer deals 2 damage to each opponent. This ability triggers only if Quakebringer is on the battlefield or if Quakebringer is in your graveyard and you control a giant. Foretell, 2 red.
It's not terrible.
Yeah, nah, that's strong, actually. That's good. Um, with the help of more giant cards, this card could be really, really useful and do a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think the support structure is fully there for giants yet, but it definitely seems like they're working on adding more giants.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of giants in this set.
Yeah, yeah, this giant set is pretty good. Because we also have Undersea Invader, which is another giant, but he is unfortunately blue. But aside from that, we have Vega, the Watcher, for 1 white blue. Legendary creature, bird spirit, and it's an uncommon. Flying. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, draw a card. Okay.
Yes, it's just
Yeah.
for flashback decks mostly.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's not amazing. It's not bad.
Um, I think it's
Vehicles came
chariot.
back.
Yeah, there's vehicles in this. Where there's dwarves, there's vehicles. Um, I think it's chariot, 3 and a green, legendary artifact vehicle. ETB create two green cat creature tokens. Whenever Asika's chariot attacks, you create a token that's a copy of target token you control. So the two twos that you make can crew the Asika's chariot. The Asika's chariot attacks, you immediately make another 2/2. Um, it's synergy within itself. I like it. Um, I have to find a place for it, but I'm sure it has one somewhere. Um, Search for glory. Search your library for a. So it's 2 and a white. Snow sorcery. Search your library for a snow permanent card, a legendary card, or a saga card. Reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle your library. You gain 1 life for each snow mana spent to cast a spell. I think just 3 mana gain 3 and draw a card is good. It's 3 mana gain 3 and tutor for a card.
Yup.
So, yeah, that card's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I have to agree. That's strong for only being a 3 cost. That's real good. That's a good tutor.
Yeah, Reckless Crew. It's just I don't know. It's okay. I'm not
We
even
also
gonna.
have Rally the Ranks, 1 and a white. It's an enchantment, a rare. As Rally the Ranks enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creatures you control of the chosen type get 1/1.
Yep, it's a
This is
lord.
Enchantment Lord.
It's a lord, but it's not a lord because it's not on a creature, but it has a
Yeah,
lord effect. So he's a lord. Now, what I like is saw it coming. It's 1 blue instant counter target spell, and it has foretell. Bruh, listen. You just like, turn 2. I can't do nothing with this. I'm gonna foretell it. Okay, it goes away. you're literally just holding a counter spell for whenever you feel is the best time for it.
Yep. It's a trap card foretell. Or trap card counter.
Yeah, it's really good.
Cool.
Um, waking the trolls. I read that card already, and it's okay. So we'll just move on to page 3 because
Uh,
I don't want to spend too much time on everything.
we
Um,
have Redane, God of the Worthy. 2 and a white. Flying Vigilance. Snow lands your opponent controls enter the battlefield tapped. Non-creature spells your opponent's cast with converted mana cost 4 or greater costs 2 more to cast.
this is what white does. It is
Sure is a tax
control.
card.
It is a tax card. It's I mean it's what white is really meant to do. It's law and order, right? So
Hmm.
they want you to follow rules, and white will put rules into place, whether you like them or not.
Yep. And then its backside is 3 and a white for Valkmira, Protector's Shield. Legendary artifact. If a source an opponent controls would deal damage to you or a permanent you control, prevent 1 of that damage. Okay. Whenever you or another permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter that spell or ability unless it pays 1. It is tax on targeting.
Yeah, I think this card is amazing. To be honest,
Wow.
I really like it.
That's obnoxious.
I really like that card.
I do too. That's really annoying. Its front side, I see as only particularly good in standard, but the backside makes me a little bit annoyed that white exists.
Well, here's the thing too: is that the reason why I think even the front is can still be good is that
It's a tax.
if okay, so let's say you play like I don't know the backside first. Later you
Mhm.
play the front side later in the game, right?
Yeah.
Well, that you just play it for its second effect. They
Yeah.
cost 2 more. Oh, this
Yeah.
dude, he was gonna win because he has omniscience. He was gonna play everything out of his hand for free. Not anymore. He's got to wait 2 more turns. So
Hmm. Yeah.
that's why
It's a
I like
tax.
it.
Yeah. I agree. Um,
Agar, the Freezing Flame, 1 blue red. Whenever a creature or an opponent, a creature or planeswalker an opponent controls was dealt excess damage. If a giant, wizard, or spell you controlled dealt damage to it this turn, draw a card. So if you lightning bolted something that had 2 toughness, you're gonna draw a card because that's a spell you control dealt damage. So
yeah.
not bad.
Yeah. I
Uh,
like it. But
I
you're not
think
going to talk about Furge's Retribution, the saga?
we can. It's just its first chapters. It's still already really good. It makes a
Oh,
four
yeah.
four white angel
Angel.
creature
Yep.
token with
With
flying
flying
and
and
vigilance
vigilance.
for 4 mana. So that's already actually not bad. I mean it's not technically vanilla card because it has flying and vigilance. So
Hmm.
that cost for what it is already good.
Yeah.
And until end of turn, angels you control gain tap, destroy target creature with power less than this creature's power. So again, can be really good because well, you just your second ability just allows you to. Well, it's
Tap
angels you
destroy.
control, right? So if you're playing Orzhov angels, I mean, each angel you already have can just tap and destroy things that are less power than it, and then angels you control gain double strike until end of turn.
Yeah.
So
Or if you're just playing Nexus.
yeah, is good. Yeah, Maskwood Nexus means each of your creatures just gain tap, destroy a weaker dude.
Yeah. Destroy something with less power. And then its uh, third saga is Angels you control, gain double strike for the rest of this turn. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That is an efficient 4 mana. Doing a lot of good things.
Yep.
Uh,
There's So Narfi's actually broken. Um,
Yeah, these are
here,
facts.
this is what I'll say, because it was way more entertaining. If you want to see more about Narfi, go check out a channel called The Commander's Quarters. If you're watching us, you probably already know that channel. So go watch his video where he asks his viewers, his subscribers, and everything to help him break Narfi. And there was a combo to where you could net 1 mana by you sacrifice it. You needed Narfi, a sack outlet, I think, and like um, or rather, I think it was maybe a creature that what is that? Oh, that's what that is. I'm like trying to scratch something off my monitor. I think it was a dirt spot, and it was because I'm looking at the live stream, and it's actually just my cursor on the screen. Uh,
Trying to scratch your cursor off the screen. You're like, what is this gross thing? Get out of here.
I okay. But yeah, I was like, you needed something that made a token when it died. You needed Narfi, and then you needed, I think it was Ashnod's Altar. So, and then you just needed to make Ashnod's Altar a snow permanent, right? So there's cards from Ice Age that can turn a permanent into a snow permanent. When Ashnod's Altar makes that colorless mana, it makes colorless snow mana now because it's a snow permanent. So you use Ashnod's Altar. You create 2 snow mana um, to kill a creature that makes a token when it dies. So that's your 4 mana, and then you use 3 of it to bring Narfi back, and then you sacrifice Narfi and the other creature, the token that you made. You have, oh man, what's that? So you had 1, and then you're gonna get 4 more. So now you're at 5. You use 3 to bring Narfi back, and it was like it was a specific card, but it kept making tokens whenever a creature died. It made like a 1/1 or something, or would come back. I believe also a card that had no, maybe not, um, but yeah. So it was just one infinite, and it did things. So go watch Mitch from the Commander's Quarters. He's great. I've never met him, but from what I can tell, he's a great guy, and he makes really good content. So definitely check him out, and check out that episode about
We also have
Narfi because it's
Mystic
really good.
Reflection for
Mm-hmm.
1 and a blue. Choose target non-legendary creature. The next time one or more creatures or planeswalkers enter the battlefield this turn, they enter as copies of the chosen creature. It also has Foretell of blue. That's a landmine if I have ever seen a landmine.
Yeah. Um.
Wow.
So let's say I'm playing this in blue. Again, I'm just gonna throw white out there, but blue white. Let's say you're playing Azorius, and you play Birth of Meletis. It will make a 0/4 on your opponent's turn when they cast a creature, um, and you cast this for its foretell or for its regular cost, whichever. Um, but or they do something that brings a bunch of creatures back, right? They cast that spell. You're gonna cast this in response, and then all of their creatures are just gonna enter as that 0/4 wall token that your Birth of Melodus made, and now they're just do nothings. This is going to be really good against Dance of the Manse decks in Standard, because when they bring back their artifacts and they pay X's 6 or more, they come back as creatures with converted mana cost or power toughness equal to their converted mana cost. They'll just come back as whatever you want them to be, which can be 0/4 walls if you're playing that card. In Commander, This can be really good for like, oh, return. What is, it's like return or put all creatures in your opponent's graveyards onto the battlefield under your control. They cast that on you, and you're like, I'm just gonna make that a 1/1 fairy, or all of them 1/1 fairies, and then they're like, oh, okay, it's a good control card. Mm-hmm. I think.
Funeral Longboat.
Oh, go ahead.
That's a good common. 2.
Oh, yeah.
Vigilance. Crew 1.
It's
It's
not
a
bad.
3/3.
It's not bad.
Yeah. Um, that's a good common.
I think that is pretty decent common.
That's a
The
that's a pretty
Bears of
strong common.
Lityara. Yeah, it's okay. Uh, the Battle of Frost and Fire deals 4 damage to each. Oh, okay. Maybe not Commander, but it's not bad. Oh, whatever. Yeah, it's okay. I really just want to highlight cards that are like significantly good. So if I just kind of mumble and then move on, that's why.
If you don't mind, I'm gonna go over Cyclone Summoner.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you want to continue to look at other
Yeah.
cards, see what you're thinking. Cyclone Summoner for 5 blue, giant wizard. Again with giant. Getting an awful lot of giants in this set. Very helpful. When Cyclone Summoner enters the battlefield, if you cast it from your hand, return all permanents to their owner's hands except giants, wizards, and lands.
Mm-hmm.
Giant Tribal, certainly looking better and better.
Yeah, that's I don't know. Rare?
But wizards already being a thing,
Rare though?
I don't know. I can see it. I definitely feel like it's I don't see why it's a 7/7.
Let's just say
Like,
this.
if it was weaker and cost less mana, like if it was, let's go 6, maybe 5,
I
5 or
think
6.
5 would have made it a
Um,
rare. Here's the thing: when I buy a box of Kaldheim, and I get this as in my rare slot in one of my packs, I'm gonna be not upset, but I'm not gonna care.
Yeah, you're not gonna dance for joy, but you're at the same time.
I'm not gonna be like, ooh, nice. No, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna do that.
Yeah.
However, here's the other thing. Um, actually, no. This card is here. Okay, here's where I think it fell off. It needed flash,
Oh yeah, I
and
agree.
I'll tell you why.
Use it on somebody else's turn.
Because if it has flash, it's Cyclonic Rift overloaded,
Mm-hmm.
and we need a Cyclonic Rift reprint. This could have been Cyclonic Rift reprint. But then the problem would have became now people are playing 2 Cyclonic Rifts in a deck,
Yep.
and I understand why it doesn't. But
Mhm.
since it doesn't, you make this an uncommon. I don't think you make this a. Because for 7 mana, come on. Yeah.
So I assume you're gonna start looking at Starnheim Unleashed.
Um,
Which is a mythic and a white for 2 white. It's a sorcery.
yeah. I think I did see this card before. It's not too bad. It makes you angel tokens and can make you a few of them. That there's not too much more to say. I don't want it to. I just don't want the stream to go on for like
Mhm.
super long.
Yeah, I just figured because it was a mythic.
We're at 2 hours now.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It should be about an hour 40. Yeah.
we're at an hour 54 minutes.
Okay.
Pretty close. So,
A little bit longer than I thought. All right.
let's see. Herald unites the elves. It mills you. You makes your creatures bigger, and makes your can possibly kill your opponent's creatures. Okay. Phase 2. Maha Bredegard Protector. 2 green, white, white, legendary creature, human warrior. Other creatures you control get +1/+1, a lord effect for any tribe. When a land enters the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 white human warrior creature token. This is pretty good. That it just says landfall, make a token. So in the right deck, again, gave Gave Guru of Spores, where you want to sacrifice creatures to put +1/+1 counters on them, and then get rid of those +1/+1 counters to. Look, it's landfall. It's just landfall make creatures. And if you add black to this in a deck, it's very strong. So I like it a lot personally.
Really quick before we look at Finn, because I know you've been dying to talk about Finn. Glorious Protector seems pretty good for a 2 white white flash flying. When Glorious Protector enters the battlefield, you may exile any number of non-angel creatures you control until Glorious Protector leaves the battlefield.
Yep, more white stuff turns out.
Yeah, yeah. It's unfortunate, but also like fair enough that it's only your creatures. But that's still giving you the ability to force your own stuff to leave the battlefield so they can come back later. Which means somebody played the board wipe, Glorious Protector at instant speed.
Yeah.
Save all your things.
Yeah, exactly.
Glorious Protector dies. Board wipe is over. All your things come back.
Yeah, I think that's why it's really good, is because for those who can't afford a Teferi's Protection, this is 1 mana more.
Yeah.
And usually you Teferi's Protection, I mean, you save everything and you keep yourself from getting hit and all that and getting messed with. But as far as like protecting your creatures goes, this is to be honest, a lackluster Teferi's Protection, but it's still quite like Teferi's Protection enough to where I would in fact play this card.
Yeah, it beats not having the option.
Yeah, I think that's really good. In Search of Greatness, it's green enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may cast a permanent spell from your hand with converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the highest converted mana cost among other permanents you control without paying its mana cost. If you don't, you scry 1. And that scry 1 helps you find that card that next time. Hopefully you'll be able to actually, do that effect. For 2 mana, yeah, I like it. I mean, you gotta go real wide. You gotta have a lot of different CMC cards to make sure that card does what it's supposed to do. So it looks like Ratatosker and Fenrir getting along there, right? Just governing each other. But yeah, Finn, I talked about him earlier quite a bit. I built a deck around him on Untap. I played it. I won. So I made a Finn deck and I won. I believe it was turn 6 or 7. Yeah, it makes infect strategy actually good. There are a ton of cards that just go with this. I'm going to go to my Architect and pull up my Asica. No, not Asica, sorry. Oh, I pulled up Coma for some reason. I'm supposed to pull up Finn. Yep.
Little did everybody realize he just wants to show off all of his decks.
Aha!
He's all a clever ploy.
This is my Finn deck. It plays 31 creatures. Now I have this. It's called Johnny Upgrades. A Johnny in Magic the Gathering. It's someone who, not a Johnny the Planeswalker, a space Johnny, a Johnny player. I'm not a Johnny, but I'm also not a Tim. But Tims like to win by using non-conventional strategies. Josh Leakwise Tim deck is his Prodigal Sorcerer because it's a blue creature that pings, and blue does not ping, and
Yeah, that's weird.
he will kill you with him, um, with his Tim deck. So that's his Tim deck, deck that wins from non-conventional means. Uh, these are Johnny upgrades. I call them because they are. It's kind of like you play anything to win, right? So in this deck, Finn's a one in a green, which I think is insane that he's that cheap. Human Warrior, which and I think he should have been a rare or a mythic, but he has Death Touch himself, which is crazy for his effect because whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals combat damage to a player, that player gets 2 poison counters. This is different from Infect because if a creature with Infect would attack, one, if it were blocked, it would give -1/-1 counters equal to its power to the creature that blocked it. Um, that doesn't happen with this. 2, if you attack and you damage an opponent, the opponent wouldn't actually take damage, it would get -1 poison counters. With this, they're taking damage and getting poison counters, but it doesn't matter how much damage you're dealing, they only get 2 poison counters per creature. But that does also mean that you could hit them with 5 creatures and kill them because now they have 10 poison counters. So one of the Johnny cards is Vorinclex. He's the one that if you would put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, put twice that many on each of those each of those kinds of counters on that permanent or player instead. So you hit somebody with Finn or a creature that you control with Death Touch, and it's going to give them 4 poison counters. Yeah, that's they're almost they're 40% dead already. And then if an opponent would put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, you put half that many of those kinds of counters instead. So it's a little bit controlly in this aspect. But you can see there's not a ton of ramp. There's rampant growth. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3, 4, 5. It's 5 ramp spells in green, which is, nope, sorry, 6. I should have known better. Yeah, it looks like 6. So it's not your usual thing. Green deck, but it does have some mana dorks. Yeah, Boreal Druid, which is a snow creature. But yeah, it's just a lot of the creatures with Death Touch for the most part, and then Evolution Sage to. Because what happened, the only reason I won that game, and it's the reason why Infect doesn't win a lot, is because eventually they just start blocking and your creatures are gone. So, one, like, this allows you, like, the only reason I won was because of Evolution Sage. So if I didn't have Evolution Sage, would I have won? Well, maybe if I had a card other than Evolution Sage, because by the time I played Evolution Sage, I had 6 mana. I mean, if I had a Vorinclex, then and I just started, I have cards in here like Whisper Silk Cloak to make my creatures unblockable and untargetable, Trailblazer Boots so that they have non-basic land walk, so they're basically unblockable, Sword of Truth and Justice, which, one, they have protection from white and blue, that's, 40% of the colors already, and then on top of that, when they deal combat damage, your creature gets bigger, then you proliferate. So you deal your 2 poison counters, and then you proliferate, so you just dealt 3. But with Vorinclex on the field, you just dealt 4, and then you proliferate, you add 2 more. Now they're at 6. You only have to hit them 1 more time. It's pretty good. Mirage Mirror being a really good card, just copying whatever. Maybe you need to copy your Whisper Silk Cloak and put it onto a creature to get more damage through. Nissa, she's just ramp. She's a great card. Other than that, you have your Fire Streaker. That's double strike. That means that'll be 4 by itself with Vorinclex on the field. That's 8 poison counters. Then if Sword of Truth and Justice was on it, then they're automatically dead from a 1 attack. Contagion Engine proliferates for 4 mana, then proliferates again with Vorinclex. That's just 4 more counters. You guys see 4 mana tap, proliferate. That's, it's just. It was a good game. My opponents did really well, and they didn't quite know what to expect. I didn't quite know what to expect, but I spent some time on this, and I really liked it. For the cards that don't have Death Touch, there's Bow of Nylea, which adds Death Touch to attacking creatures, so not every one of your creatures has to have Death Touch. And if they don't, then Bow of Nylea can definitely help out there. Karn's Bastion to proliferate. I mean, what more can I really say? It's just Death Touch creatures, and there's plenty of them. The deck can work. So if you actually, it says $220. Without basic land, it says $195. It's not true. I actually went on the TCG Player and found the price for each individual card at its lowest price, including, I take it from, I do the same thing Mitch does. Damage cards need homes too, and ever since I saw his first video, I've always really liked that, because, that phrase just really speaks to me. But yeah, damage cards do need homes too, so. There were only like 3 or 4 of them, but all the same, whenever I've ordered damage cards from TCG Player, they look like lightly played cards, but are perfectly fine. So don't shy away from damage cards. This deck was $76.88 on TCG Player. That's not including shipping, and that's not including these 3 guys, because these 3 guys make the deck $150, so it just doubles it with 3 cards. So you can literally play any other 3 cards you want that are in green that you like. Put in your pet cards, whatever. The deck will run fine without these cards. I didn't use them when I played, so you don't need them to win. So don't worry about those 3 cards. They're in there because sometimes you just need a little extra, right? I want to see how these 3 cards would work. Chroma's Memorial would probably be the one that I actually would keep in the deck. If I owned it, I would put it in. Creatures you control have Flying, First Strike, Vigilance, Trample, Haste, Protection from Black, and Protection from Red.
Oh, that is just a lot of keyword soup.
Yeah. This means that your Death Touch creatures, they have Flying and they have First Strike. Hold on. The Flying, you're probably hitting. The First Strike,
yep.
The other creature that's blocking, it dies immediately.
Yep.
Yeah. The Vigilance, that means you can block. But guess what? They still have First Strike. So when they block, the other creature dies immediately. Then they have Trample in case that matters. And they have Haste so that when you play your next card, boom, it's out. It's able to hit. It has Flying, First Strike, Vigilance, Trample, Protection from Black and Red.
Yep.
That is my... by the way, anyone who doesn't like Harmonize in the deck and is like, oh, it's 4 mana, draw 3, it's not good. Harmonize won me that game. I would not. I could not have won that game without Harmonize, because Harmonize found me more of my proliferate cards and found me the lands I needed for Evolution Sage in order to proliferate on one turn and then the next turn after that. So. Yep, this deck, $76. You can screenshot it if you want, or just comment down below, or just put in the chat that you want the deck list, and I'm more than happy to put the deck list up. It says 99. I think there was a land that I took out, but don't worry about it. But yeah, so that's Finn. I had a lot to say about him. Oh man, there's so many cards.
But yeah, I know. Getting us a little bit more back on track here, we have Cosima, God of the Voyage, for 2 and a blue, legendary creature God. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may exile Cosima. If you do, it gains whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control. If Kasuma is exiled, you may put a voyage counter on it. If you don't return Kasuma to the battlefield with X 1/1 counters on it and draw X cards where X is the number of voyage counters.
That front side's great.
Whoa.
I really like that front side. That front side's
Yeah,
fantastic.
that is super good. And then one of my favorite things in all of Magic, its backside is the Omen Keel for 1 and a blue. It is a vehicle. This makes me happy. Whenever a vehicle you control deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles that many cards from the top of their library. You may play lands from among those cards as long as they remain exiled. Crew 1. And it is a 3/3. Man, I love vehicles.
Yeah, the backside's really good just with that whole land part. It's fantastic because if we were playing this as your commander and maybe you don't want to get mana screwed, I mean, and you play it for its vehicle side, it's 2 mana, it's a 3/3, it's crew 1, so turn 3 you're smacking with it, and then if you exile one of your lands, you can still play your lands no matter what, right? So. And that's, you may play lands from among those cards for as long as they remain exiled. This card doesn't need to stay on the battlefield in order to keep playing those lands. It can be way later. You could replay it for its god side, and those lands, whenever you need your land drop, boom, there's your land.
You can just hit other people and use their lands.
Yeah.
You now effectively have.
Sorry, not your lands, other people's. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. You now effectively are gaining access to, whenever I want, add either blue or colorless. Unless you happen to get a land that's, like, more useful in particular.
Yep.
Could get some specialty lands, which would be nice. You got anything you're in particular looking at?
I'm just gonna read real quick if I see anything that's actually good.
I'm going to quickly, while you're looking at cards, talk about Surtland Frostpire. It's a new land we're getting. When it enters the battlefield, it is tapped. It's all the way at the bottom. It is tapped for a red, and it also has the effect for tap blue red. Or sorry, 2 blue red tap. Sacrifice Surtland. Scry 2. Surtland Pyre deals 2 damage to each creature. Activate this ability only at a time you can cast sorceries. You can only do it on your turn, unless you have something that's giving you the ability to cast sorceries on other people's turns.
Yeah, so these are like dual-colored lands because obviously you need to run them in the second
A dual-color deck. Yep.
Yeah.
But I like that effect.
Yeah, I mean, this is a cycle of lands. They're all right here on the page. X-Guard, Armory does something. That's your equipments and stuff.
Port Carfell. Yeah.
Yeah, Port Carfell is actually really good. You just return a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So.
Yeah. I was just gonna read like one of them for an example.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Port of Carfell is not as restrictive as Surtland Frostpire because you don't have to do it at sorcery speed. You can do it at instant speed.
Yeah.
So you can do it on the turn right before your turn on the end step and get your creature out and then have it on tap.
And then for another land that's in this similar style, we have Great Hall of Starnheim, which you'll be seeing here in a minute when you go to the next page.
Ah, okay. Yeah. I was like, what is he talking about? Where's that? Where is it? I see it. Never mind.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's all the way on the left. Anyway, we have a new Kraken. I mainly just want to talk about this because it's hilariously expensive.
Yeah, it is.
For 12 CMC, 10 and 2 blue, Snow Creature Kraken. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each snow land you control. Okay, cool. So he's like only playable if you have a lot of snow land. Got it.
He's playable on turn 6.
Yeah. If you have nothing but snow land, yeah.
Yep, turn 6 because he'll cost 4 and 2 blue. So he will be 6, and then your 6th land, obviously you can play a 6 CMC spell, so turn 6.
When Icebreaker Kraken enters the battlefield, artifacts and creatures target opponent controls don't untap during the next untap for that player. Return 3 snowlands you control to their owner's hands. Return Icebreaker Kraken to its owner's hand.
Yeah, so this is obviously
Why?
the because Alex.
Ooh, spicy. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. You play it in a landfall deck.
Exactly. That way you get extra ETB triggers on your landfall cards.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it gives you guaranteed lands every turn.
Mm-hmm. Sure does.
Strong. I like it.
If you're playing like Azusa where you play 2 extra lands per turn, I mean, just play all 3 again. More landfall triggers. It's not bad. I think you definitely play this in Tatiova, which is a landfall deck. Tatiova is pretty strong.
Are you looking at anything in particular?
Well, we got the new rune card, so I feel like we should at least talk about one of them.
Guard.
Yeah, so Aura Rune.
Oh, the new rune.
Yeah, these are runes.
Enchantments. Yeah.
Now, some people were looking at like Rune Scarred Demon and being like, "Oh yeah, that's a rune card." Maybe it is. I don't. It says a rune card, so rune just has to be somewhere on the card, really. Or at least that's how.
Is that how that works?
That's how it works in some other games that I won't mention.
Because I don't think that's how that works in this case.
It's probably not, but it would.
It is a card type.
Yes.
For example, it's Aura Rune.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't probably just find Mother of Runes.
Yeah.
But
anyway, as you were saying,
we'll see what Wizard says. Yeah, so I don't know. Just give a little love to White when it ETBs. Well, it looks like whenever any of them ETB, they draw you a card. So it's 2 mana draw card, so that's already actually not bad. They're all enchant permanents, so you enchant anything. And then the white one has, as long as enchanted permanent is a creature, has lifelink. Black says enchanted permanent is a creature, has death touch. Red, enchanted permanent is a creature, it's +1/+0 and has haste. Green says as long as enchanted permanent is a creature, it gets +1/+1 and has trample. So it does things that each color actually likes to do, which is pretty good. And then it obviously has, because it's enchant permanent, it wouldn't just be, hey, if it attaches to a creature. It's going to matter if it attaches to something else. So white says, as long as enchanted permanent is an equipment, equipped creature has lifelink. So again, you could enchant the creature itself or enchant the permanent. In this case, is an equipment. So you might do this if the creature itself is scary enough, and you're like, hey, I don't want to put this on the creature because if it gets removed, I'd like to have this effect still around. So you put it on your Swiftfoot boots. And Swiftfoot Boots just has lifelink now. And then the same is true. It's all of its equipment. Black, they gain death touch. Red, they get +1/+0 and haste. And green, they get +1/+1 and has trample. So that's all the rune cards. They just, I wish the second effect was something different so that it was like, had more variety and was, pretty much just had more variety.
I agree.
Let's see.
But aside from that, we do have Orvar, the All Form, a new mythic. For 3 and a blue, it is another shapeshifter, so it's also a changeling. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, if it targets one or more other permanents you control, create a token that's a copy of one of those permanents.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
N-
When
no,
a
not
spell-
okay. God damn!
No, I know. Yeah, like, okay, sure. Uh, when a spell or ability an opponent controls causes you to discard this card, create a token that's a copy of target permanent.
So it's good in the command zone and in the 99.
Jesus.
Here's the thing. This card is so good. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm just going to talk about standard for a second here. Because in standard, even if it's not standard, okay, even if it's commander, if this is in your 99 or if this is, I mean, if you're playing standard, you're going to play 4 of this. If discard decks end up being part of a meta, just for the fact of they don't want it on, they don't want you to have it on the field. It's way worse to have it on the field than to have it in your hand. So if they see it, they're gonna get rid of it because you having it is already absolutely terrible. But so you're gonna make a copy of something, right? Now, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, if it targets one or more permanents you control, create a token that's a copy of one of those permanents. Okay. Now, in Commander, this is really good as a monocolor deck, I think. I think it's fantastic. I really, really like it. In Standard, you have to play this with another color. Because in Standard, most blue cards really hurt the thing, right? So, and it's not just as easy, you can't play a draw spell because it doesn't target a permanent you control. So I would play this in blue-green, or blue-black, or blue-red, or blue-white. Imagine just having, like, 7 Ajani's Primates, Alex.
Yeah. Imagine having a lot of literally any card.
Now, Ajani's Primate isn't actually in Standard, but Hallowed Priest is, and it is effectively Ajani's Primate, so... This card's bananas.
Yeah, a little bit.
That card's insane. Now, this next card, oh boy, this is... Now, people might be like, wait, why'd you say this card is so good? Well, it's Doom Scar.
I was just looking at that and I couldn't agree anymore.
It's 3 white, destroy all creatures. First things first, the only mass removal spell that is like in Standard right now is Extinction Event, which is, you have to choose between even or odd converted mana cost. Why did my light just go out? Okay, it got dark.
Yeah, you didn't need to begin with.
I mean, we'll see once it comes around to the... Nah, yeah, I needed it. I just turned into, I don't know who. I don't know what just happened, but...
Nah, you illuminate the room.
Oh, do it, I do? Me? Am I the sunshine?
I don't know what happened here.
But while he's
my surge